immigration figures, which are horrendous. Horrendous if you want to get a GP appointment. Horrendous if you want to travel around Britain's motorways. Horrendous if you want your kids or grandkids to ever get a foot onto the housing ladder. Horrendous in terms of producing very disjointed societies and communities. And the message is pretty clear. 750,000 in the last year. And don't believe the lies and spin that it's a 20% reduction from the year before. It isn't. The year before's figures have been raised now in 2 instalments by 230,000. So let's get it into our heads. In 2023, under a Conservative government, nearly 1 million net people came into our country. This after manifestos in 2010, 2015, 2017 and 2019, promising in the first 3 they'd reduce the numbers to tens of thousands a year, and in the last one, a substantial reduction. I have had enough of being lied to by the Conservative Party. I don't believe they'll be forgiven at any point in the next few years for what they have done and the impact it's had on people's lives. And you might have noticed, the quicker the population rises, the poorer the average family in Britain becomes. And those figures are now undeniable. Of course, with Labour, it's even worse. And I don't think smashing the gangs is going to work. It's perhaps worth just mentioning briefly that the asylum bill, we've had those figures this morning, that has gone up by 36% in 1 year to 5.38 billion. And that doesn't even include the daily cost of what is happening in the English Channel with drones, with Border Force, and with the massive processing centre at Manston. I don't know what the true figure is, but it wouldn't be difficult to work out that it would be several multiples of what has been taken away from Britain's pensioners in terms of their winter fuel allowance and the hit that will be taken by British farmers. But then, why would they matter? They're British. They seem to be always at the back of the queue. So I'm pretty angry about those numbers today. I think the general population will be too. And for Kemi Badenoch to stand up yesterday and read off the autocue as she did, to say we got things slightly wrong. No, you didn't get things slightly wrong. You have fundamentally changed the lives of everybody in this country and diminished living standards for virtually everyone. Enough of the negativity. I'm delighted that on Tuesday of this week, we went through the 100,000 number. I've led previous political parties. I led UKIP for many years, and the peak we got to then was 46,000. The remarkable thing about the rise over the course of the last few months is it's happened at a time when we're not particularly active. We are restructuring, reorganising, as Zia said. We now have 400 parliamentary constituencies that are up and running, and we're about to release them into the field. We're about to start delivering tens of millions of leaflets through doors. This rise has happened during a relatively quiet period of reorganisation for the party. The appetite out there is quite extraordinary. The enthusiasm. I mean, you should have been at the Reform Christmas party last night that took place just down the road. I, of course, now being older and wiser, left early. And I didn't even get the chance to dance to YMCA, which is a bit of a regret. That's good news. You might have noticed that in by-elections, weekly by-elections that take place for district, borough or county councils, we've now become active. And last week in Kent, we won our first county council by-election, and we'll win another one between now and Christmas in a county not too far away from there. So we're taking that seriously. But the vast majority of Zia's time and the vast majority of my time is focused on one simple thing, and that is May the 1st next year. On May the 1st next year, we have the English county council elections, some of them now, of course, unitary. There are 2,200 candidates that we need to find to fill those vacancies. We have so far vetted and approved over 1,000 of them, and we've put in place vetting standards far more rigorous than any political party in Britain has ever undergone before for people standing for local election. Those candidates will be beginning to be adopted, in fact, starting at the end of this week. And I promised I'd democratise the party, and yeah, it's up to the branches. They can choose who the candidates are off the approved list. So we expect to hit the ground running, out there campaigning, door-to-door, leafleting, gathering data, ready for those elections on May the 1st, and we'll do that starting very early in the new year. So I think this membership of 100,000, milestone though it is but a fraction of what we're actually capable of achieving. People want something different. And to carry on from what Zia said, if you come to a reform event, you'll find happy people. We are happy warriors. And it's because we actually genuinely think that this never-ending cycle of negativity, of economic decline and societal decline can be turned around with strong leadership. In fact, I think that's what the American public thought at their recent elections. And boy, am I looking forward to my new friend, Elon Musk, taking on the administrative state in America. It may well prove a blueprint that perhaps we can use if things go well after 2029. There's one other number I want to point out to you, and that is my personal TikTok account, which last week went through 1 million followers. And we get tens of millions of views on my TikTok account every single month. 2/3 of that million are under the age of 35. Half of them are under the age of 25. Something remarkable is happening with Gen Z. And it's not just happening here. It happened in America at the last election, where Trump got 44% of the under-30s to vote for him. Something that was unthinkable in 2016 and 2020. And it's happening across much of the rest of Europe too. A lot of those that seem to support me are 16 and 17, which is perhaps why the Labour government have decided not to lower the voting age. I put forward as a suggestion, I don't know. But there's something very exciting happening, and what we have to do is to turn that enthusiasm into people that actually register and go out to vote, and it's going to be one of the main jobs that Zia and I have over the course of the next few years.